biggest reasons we felt like we wanted to do a little bit different than we had typically seen. Or we're even providing. We just felt like the whole family needed to be supported. And the best way to help the children is to support a family. Our goal is to provide the skills and the resources that will make the family stronger, which is going to be the best treatment for any child.
And we know that by taking that approach and supporting an entire family to be stronger, to be more successful, to work together better, whatever it needs to be, we know that our reward at the end result, the outcome really is going to be a child that is improved, a child that is happier and healthier and more successful and more independent and has more skills and abilities. But that's, we believe, and I think that's why we decided that we needed to do this together, because we had that same belief and that same philosophy, is that ultimately we get to that outcome in children by doing that work at the family. The family is the core. The family is the foundation.
Since we do believe in families, the team of therapists is a family as a whole. We support each other. It's not one therapist working on a case and just trying to help one family. It is multiple therapists who are consulting and assisting in our services for a family. They get many minds and many years of experience through that approach of our team as a family.
We're proud of the variety of expertise that we have on our team. You know, we have people from clinical backgrounds, you know, sort of the mental health field, therapy, psychology. We have folks from special education, regular education. You know, we really have a wide variety of people who've specialized in behavior, and that's been their path. So we're able to bring all of these facets together, and our team is what makes us more able to serve the entire family. One thing that we get asked a lot is, what is ABA? It is a method of teaching children that came out of a science, and so it's been thoroughly tested and researched, but now, today, it is a way of teaching children skills that they otherwise are not picking up. So it is a systematic method of teaching new behaviors, increasing skills. It's research proven. You know, some people are familiar with terms like discrete trial training and pivotal response treatment, and it's currently the only research proven treatment for children who have the diagnosis of autism. So like any science, the methods and, you know, the things that we've learned, the strategies that we know work now, came from research, studies, experimentation with animals. So people have heard sometimes of, you know, studies done on rats and pigeons and animal training. Well, isn't this animal training? But that is really where the science originated and was tested and proven. And then they took those principles, and applied behavior analysis really is that. It's applied. They said, how can we take what we've learned, just like with any, I mean, I think that's common for the medical field. There are years and years and years of lab tests, clinical tests, and studies and research and, you know, proving that goes on before it comes out to the general population and is adopted and begins to be widely accepted and used. So there's a lot of history that sometimes people are familiar with the history, but that's not necessarily what you would see happening with your child. Another thing that we hear a lot is, well, I know about this. This is robot training. This is that therapy, that teaching that you know, ends up turning my child into a robot. Well, I think that back in the 60s and 70s and perhaps even early 80s, some of the methods were so strict and rigid as they were first being tested that it did somewhat cause a little bit of that. And that's exactly what we've learned, and the last 3 decades have been spent correcting that and finding new principles and finding the errors of the old and the ways that we now can do it differently. So it's really, as a science, it's really developed and progressed to something that is so natural. It's good for children. It looks like play. It's age appropriate. You know, it fits what a 2-year-old or a 6-year-old or a 12-year-old ought to be doing.
One of the things that we get asked sometimes and run into is people think that when our therapists come into the home that they're just going to take their child and go into a room and sit down and they're going to stay in that room for the next couple hours. That's not how we provide our services, because that's not really natural. We feel like that they will generalize better, pick up and learn faster if it is an active involvement within their home and their community. We have seen more progress made doing that type of involvement, that type of teaching, than just going and sitting in a room and kind of keeping it in once again, in kind of a sterile environment.
So we come to the home because it's applied. It needs to be in a child's natural environment. We go to their home, their school, their community, their neighborhood, their playground. We've gone to church before. We go to grandma's house. Wherever that child needs to learn and practice those skills is where we want to be. Therapy looks like play. There will be times that they are playing. They're down on the floor, they're out in the yard, they're running around the house, but they're playing. And through that play and that game, or whatever feels like natural play for that child's age and development, the therapist is teaching. They are sneaking in the teaching and the practice and the therapy, but it will look to a parent and to the child like play. The other thing is, it looks like teaching. It looks like a tutor. It looks like sitting at a table and learning, working on skills and new materials and reviewing and teaching. And then the final thing is that it looks like practice. Kids might start to gain a skill, and then it's about practice, and therapists will walk them through several practices, and they'll repeat skills. They'll try the skill in different ways. They'll do it a little bit in the backyard and then come in and try it with the sibling and see how it worked when we did it that way. So those are the things that they'll see. Is you'll see a lot of playing, a lot of teaching and introducing, and a lot of practicing until we're sure that that child has achieved mastery. Some children just don't learn by watching others. They just don't learn by the models that they observe in their world, like other kids might just pick things up naturally. That doesn't really happen for all children. They need things broken down, even things that seem normal, like some of those recognizing social cues, or how to interact with friends and peers. Some of that needs to be a little more specifically taught to some children. Some of our children have had tutoring before, where they've gone to an academic tutoring center, but we come in the home, so we're able to do teaching with siblings and how to play games and how to set the table and how to participate in household routines and chores more successfully, how to get along as a family and as part of a family. It's all those things that the parent really wishes that were in place. We can help them get there, which then you see the children sort of come into line. When the parent feels like they're more in control of the home and the family, then you see everything sort of settle.
Many times parents have read a book, seen Super Nanny on the TV, or had someone tell them about a great behavioral intervention, but they're not quite sure how to put it into play. They don't know what exactly they're supposed to be doing. And so what happens is that we are able to come in and be that bridge for them. We can come in and help teach them and show them how to apply that principle to their life, and how does it work with their kiddos.
No two children are alike, and no two families are alike. Okay. And when you're looking at the entire dynamic of a family, it's just not as easy as take this chart home, hang it up on the wall, start to use the stickers, have a treasure box, and good luck. For us, in our model, that's just really one slice of the pie. Then there's this whole rest of the model, the package, that is the school involvement, the coordination with speech, and occupational therapies or other services the child is receiving, the community settings. We often will go to the child maybe does gymnastics somewhere in the community, or we're going with them to the rec center, or we're going to their community daycare where they're expected to spend a little bit of time every day or every week. We're going to extended family. We're working with parents. Part of our therapy hours and our services are going to be some direct time spent with parents. We come in the home and model the skills. We do this in front of the parents so they can see what this would look like. It's not off in a separate area. It's right there in front of mom and dad so that they can be watching and learning and seeing it for themselves. It's not simply a philosophy. These are scientifically proven methods that continue to be tested and put through the rigors again and again and again. And so when a child isn't responding to much else, and if a parent feels like they're at the end of their rope or they've tried everything else, a doctor doesn't know what else to recommend, a school team is frustrated and is running out of resources, ABA often can come in, analyze the root of the problem, because that's a big piece of its applied behavior analysis. We analyze specifically to find out what is happening here, what is exactly causing this, and then we can use these methods to approach that cause and to correct it, to teach the new skills and the correct skills and the things that we do want the child doing, and get things back on track.
We talk about our goals or our values of our company, of Utah Behavior Services. The main ones that we have that are important to us is the families, serving and preserving families. They are what's most important and critical. And we know that by supporting the whole family, we have found that we are able to preserve the family and help them be successful.